G'day guys, welcome back to another episode at Life Dilemmas and Dad Stuff. This is Tommy Kendi, your host. Today we are talking about this really cool little theme that I personally have. I deal with this quite often on a weekly, on a daily basis, and it's a big one for me, and I feel like I can confidently talk about this stuff because I push through it so often, and it's basically this idea that no one's coming to save you. Whew, that's a big one, isn't it? And quite often when we go through life, I mean, even the last 2 weeks, my nanny has been away. Our nanny has been away, and so I've spent a lot of time with my daughter, and as fucking awesome as that is, and as appreciative I am to be able to spend time with my daughter, man. I mean, fuck, man, parenting is tough, and to try and get shit done when you're looking after a 2-year-old is fucking hard. So yeah, the nanny's been away for 2 weeks, so I've basically been at a full dad time. I've had a little bit of help, but other than that, I just haven't had time to do the podcast. And to be honest, if I am being honest, I have had time, but I just haven't had the headspace to really dig in. And life, it literally fills every available space if you let it. And so that was my challenge over the last 2 weeks is where do I put my energy? And to be honest, when you're looking after a 2-year-old, I felt quite depleted at the end of the day, or if I got an hour or two here or there, I was just like, I just can't be fucked with my podcast. Like my head's not in it, my mind's not in it, and I'd just be doing it just for the fuck of it. And I don't want to do things just for the fuck of it. And it sort of got me thinking in terms of this whole difference between wanting something and choosing something. And obviously I want this podcast to work and I want things to move and whatever, but there's this big difference because when you do things just because you're wanting to do it and you're not choosing it, it makes a big difference. And I think that in the last couple of weeks, I could have done it very differently if I actually chose to make time for the podcast. And if I chose time to make a couple of episodes in the last 2 weeks, then I would have been able to get myself ready and to get myself into a spot where I'm like, okay, cool, let's do the podcast. So this isn't about choosing what you want for dinner. It's like you've got to decide what you're creating with your life. So it's not as easy as going, oh, am I going to have roasted veggies and chicken, or am I going to go out and go fucking get Japanese or something? So it really is, when you decide what you're going to do with your life, it's about creating. It's about creating, and you can always fall off the wagon like I always do. And you can want something for years and years and years and do absolutely fuck all about it. But choosing something is very different. So there's this really weird dynamic between wanting something and choosing something, and wanting always keeps the door open. Wanting says, it would be nice if it would be nice if I did this, it would be nice if I did that. But choosing something is very different. It's basically like, this is the direction I'm taking, and the choice is the end result. It's not the full plan, but choosing something is an end result, and you don't need to know exactly how it happens before choosing it. That's one of the key things that I'm learning, and I've been learning over the last 15, 20 years since I've been in this industry, is that you're never going to know how things happen before choosing it. But as soon as you choose something, it becomes a concrete thing in your life, and you've got an end result and you can see it. And you by you choosing it, it's a genuine choice. So what do you keep saying? I mean, what do you keep saying you want? This is a question for you. It's like, if you were in front of me right now, what things, or what is the one main thing that you keep saying that you want, but you haven't genuinely chosen? So that's such a big question. What do you keep saying you want, but you haven't genuinely chosen it yet. Once you choose something, it becomes a vision. And once you've chosen, once you've taken a choice of something, I'm choosing to do this, or I'm choosing the end result of this, it brings it to life. And, you know, I mean, then you start to look at things like, what does an ordinary life, or an ordinary day in the life look like when this choice is true, when you're choosing something? How do you feel? How are you behaving? What are you no longer tolerating? And who are you being? What things are you, how do you, how are you in your body? And it makes such a key difference between wanting and choosing. And look, if you can't see the life that you're moving towards, your current life will keep making your decisions for you. You know, I mean, if you just have a look at your current reality right now, if you have a look at your current life, your current reality, and what that looks like be fucking honest. And I'm doing all these things myself. Like, look honestly at what's happening right now. And so if I'm bringing myself into it, and there's no judgment and no spiritual bullshit, but if you honestly look at what's happening now and you observe the obvious. And you know, I just had this conversation with someone about an hour or two ago, and they asked me, you know, they said, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm, you know, into yoga, and I do coaching, and I do, you know, all this stuff." I mean, you guys know what I do, otherwise you wouldn't be fucking listening to this podcast. But they're like, "When I explain what I did," and they said, "Okay, so with your teachings, what is the number one thing that you believe to be incredibly true, and the number one thing that you really stick to?" So I got asked that question. What is the number one thing that you believe in, and the number one thing that you believe to be absolutely true in your teachings? And it didn't take me too long to think about it, because I know it, and I know it incredibly well. And that is to observe the obvious. And it sounds so fucking simple. And so when you give yourself the opportunity to observe the obvious, then you're looking at things with true honesty. So, for example, if you're in a job that you fucking hate, if you observe the obvious, then you're like, hang on a second, I go home and after work or after my day, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do that all again tomorrow. That must fucking suck. So if you were observing the obvious, you'd sit there going, all right, well, the obvious is I obviously need to get out of my job. And then, or, you know, you're in a relationship that you know is never ever going to get anywhere. There's no hope in that relationship. You observe the obvious and you go, okay, cool. Like, you know, like, come on, you know, observe the obvious, and then you start to take matters into your own hands. But aside from that, when you observe the obvious, then you can make powerful choices. It's not like something you want, like airy fairy. It's like you make a choice. I'm going to choose. Not going to, I'm choosing the end result of, or I'm choosing this, or I'm choosing that. So what are you doing? What are you avoiding? This is the big one. What are you avoiding? And look, I've got a shit ton of things in my life that I'm avoiding. And you know what? They show up constantly. Like, where are my actions contradicting what what I say that I want? And this is the same thing for you. You've got to have a look at your actions. How are they contradicting what you say you want? Where are you waiting for somebody else to change? And these are really big ones, whether it's work, relationship, and even in yourself. Like, where in your life are you waiting for a change to happen within you before you're allowed to do something? So you really can't build a bridge between your current reality and your choice or your vision without being fully honest about where you're standing. And this is where current reality really comes into play. And it's because you get to see the gap between where you are right now and your true vision. And I reckon the easiest thing to in this whole exercise, or this whole way of living where you're honest about your current reality and your true vision, is the easiest thing is actually finding what your vision is. It's so easy because we all know what we want to go towards. We all know what is it. We know what tickles the bigger. And I mean, look, we've all had situations in our life where we've had moments of like, oh my god, I got goosebumps all over me. This is awesome. This is what I want. This is what I want to experience. Like for me, for example, is when I'm teaching, or when I'm in doing workshops and retreats, and whether it's in a corporate environment or in a yoga studio or doing one of my workshops. So this is for me where I'm most alive. And where is that for you? Where is that for you where you're most alive? And this is where observing the obvious really comes into it. So and then look, what sort of happens is that people go, oh my god, I found my vision and I'm ready to fucking go. And I you know what? I was looking over some notes and stuff. I found my vision a very long time ago. Like I'm talking 10 plus years, and my vision keeps coming in all these beautiful, magical ways. But there hasn't been that moment where I've seen my ultimate vision play out in front of me. There's been tiny little gaps, but man, do I know that shit is coming, because I understand that where my current reality is and where my vision is, there's this tension. And I've spoken about this tension before, but there's this real tension. It feels like almost like a rubber band, like stretching, and just before it breaks. And this tension is that it's like this neutral pull between where you are now and what you've chosen. And so when you realize that what you've chosen, your vision and your current reality, and you hold the vision so strong that you hold that vision so strong, and you're really taking action from your current reality. So you're in your current reality where you are right now, but you're taking action from that, and the tension becomes this creative energy. And the creative energy is like, oh, maybe I should do this. This is that bridge, that creative energy. It's like, oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. And so, it's such a fucking exciting game. It really is, because when you feel that tension, if you're not trained in this work, then you'll feel that tension, and then you'll go straight into doubt or overwhelm or discomfort. And you want to feel that tension of that space between your current reality and what you've chosen, or your vision. And for the people that don't know how to live in that tension, and they start to feel fear and doubt and overwhelm and discomfort creep in. What if I fail? Who the fuck do I think I am? What if, nobody comes, or what if nobody likes it? The ego wants immediate relief from that discomfort. And if we don't train ourselves, like constantly train ourselves over and over again on the daily, on the hourly, then we buy into the ego's immediate need for relief of getting out of discomfort. And for example, I mean, I've got a really cool workshop coming up, and initially I was like, oh, I don't want to do it because no one's going to come. What if nobody comes? What if? But I've got this vision, and I chose this vision of having a room full of people, and us just jamming off each other and having a really fucking cool time. And it makes me excited. I'm now like, even if there's three people in the room, I don't give a fuck. Well, I mean, look, I do, and I know there's not going to be three people, because I know there's going to be way more than that. But it's just about me standing there and being in there and sharing my passion of what I'm going to talk about in this workshop. So I mean, look, the gap isn't the problem. The tension isn't the problem. The challenge is, what do you do when the gap becomes uncomfortable, and that determines where your life goes. That's a big one. It's like, you got to understand, what do you do when the gap becomes uncomfortable, and that determines where your life ends up, where your life goes. We don't want that. And this is where the ego gets relief. This egoic aspect of ourselves, it gets relief by things like shrinking the vision. So if you have this grandiose vision, it starts to, the ego wants to shrink the vision. So you're almost like, well, I don't even want that. I don't even like it really. And it literally shrinks the vision. If it's this big, it'll fucking shrink it to a peanut. And then, it's just like, man, I don't even know if I want it. And am I even good at this? And, you start to go towards, maybe I'll delay it a little bit. I'll do the workshop another time, or I'll do this, whatever your vision is, not workshop, but whatever the fuck it is for you. You know what it is. You're listening and you're like, oh my God, I know what my vision needs to be. I need to make it this big, and so you delay the decision. You're constantly, you're like waiting for certainty. It's like maybe someone will come in and save me, or you overthink everything, especially with AI now. Like, you could get into AI and you're like, all right, I'll ask AI and AI will tell me, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. And you just keep building and building, but you're not sharing everything, or you blame your circumstances, just like I did. My nanny's been away for 2 weeks. I blame the fucking nanny. So we had a good joke today with Sally, the nanny. We had a good little joke today where she came home and I said, Sally, you're not allowed to go away till 2030. Just an FYI, you're never going away again. And yeah, obviously that's not going to happen. But you blame your circumstances. I did. I mean, I can blame the fact that, but whatever it is, I mean, there's so many different things you can blame. And so you decide the timing isn't right, or you distract yourself with smaller problems, which I'm also really good at. So your ego can make retreat sound incredibly intelligent. And so look, this whole, and I can relate to it now. I mean, I've just told you about the workshop story, about how I've got a workshop coming up and I want to run the workshop, but, and I want to see what it can become, and the immediate, and I've got one of my good mates, Kat John, who also, she's fucking awesome. And she runs like workshops all the time. And now she's, doing, down on Elwood Beach here on Sunday, she does, Qigong, free Qigong every single Sunday. And she's so good at just, and choosing something and then just fucking doing it. I'm like, oh my God. And she had like 30 people at Elwood Beach the other week, or 30, 40 people sitting there doing Qigong with her. And she's like, oh my God, this is awesome. And I'm like, yeah, because you just fucking front it up. But she also has the same fear. It's like, well, actually, she doesn't have the same fear as what if nobody comes? That's my fear. I think her fear is basically like, I don't know what, it's something along the lines of what if, everyone fucking hates me or something like that. But how easy it would be to just avoid choosing a date for me for my workshop. So yeah, it is. It's like it can be really frustrating, and you don't want to make yourself the hero either. So you want to feel this tension, and you're learning to use this tension differently when you allow yourself to sit in this tension of where you are in your current reality and the tension or the gap between your vision. Man, it's fucking cool. And that's ultimately where that overarching bridge is. It's not the bridge between where you are and where you are heading, your chosen path. It's not like a perfect 12-month strategy. And I keep telling my coaching clients this, it's different for everyone. It's basically the next honest action. With the bridge, it's the next honest action where you are observing the obvious. So example, you observe the obvious. Me, for my workshop, you set the date. Okay, I've set the date. Then you have the conversation, like blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Then you say you whatever it may be. I mean, look, it might not be a workshop for you. It could just be you've got an awkward conversation to have the awkward conversation, or you've got a job that you want to go for. Apply for the fucking job. Like, observe the obvious. Publish your book. Of one of my clients, it's so funny. One of my coaching clients, one of her choices was all around getting a kid's, like a really beautiful kid's book for teaching mums how to get their little ones off the boob. And then, we had our last session the other day, and she held this fucking book up. I'm like, oh my God, you're fucking awesome. And so she's created this book on how to get a baby off the boob, and she's going to publish it and releasing it. So we've got to stop waiting for confidence and just go for it. So confidence often turns up after you move, not before. And you know what? When I say often, that's bullshit. Confidence always turns up after you move, not before. So you really have to get into this, guys. And so look, I mean, what do you want to choose? It's a big one. What is it that you want to choose? I just want to close this down, because nobody is going to choose your life for you. What do you want to choose? It's a big one. If you don't know how to go into your vision, please fucking get onto me. Let's spend a bit of time working together, and I'll show you what does that life actually look like when you choose in line with your true heart purpose. What's your fucking life look like when you choose something really magical, really special? And what's your current reality? What story appears when you see the gap? What do you need to do when you observe the obvious? And are you building the bridge or shrinking your vision? Big one. What action can you take in the next 7 days? This is a big one. And I would even shrink that down. What action can you take right fucking now? What is it? Is it to make a phone call? Is it to grab your phone and fucking book it in and go, right, this is what I'm doing it. Let's go, baby. Let's go be baby. So look, in my 50 years of being alive, I know a number of things, and I reckon I'm pretty wise, and I'm pretty proud of the person I am. But one thing that I've definitely learned, and I might be proven wrong, but no one's coming to save me. And I don't think anyone's coming to save you or choose your life for you. So you are the chosen one, not because you're more special than anybody else, but because you're the one who has to make the fucking choice. What do you think of that? You're the one that has to make the fucking choice.